Good morning, everyone. We all have gathered here for a debate on the topic Indian culture versus Western culture. We have two different teams. Four of us are in the favor of Western culture, other remaining four are in the favor of Indian culture. So, I'm glad to start this debate, and my point is I am in the favor of Western culture. Western culture is very advanced. They provide, Western culture provide us freedom, equal rights, justice, and on the other hand, Indian culture is more preserved. They are not that much open-minded, while Western people are very open-minded. Crime rates are lower in Western countries, if we see, rape cases we see, and all that crimes. And they provide gender equality is much there. In India, we don't accept we don't accept that LGBTQ community. They are also a part of our society, but we have that taboo. These people are different. We differentiate them. They are also humans, while Western people support them completely. So Western culture is very much open-minded about that. They have technologies, advanced technologies, while we Indian culture is still trying to develop. They have some traditions we have heard about child marriage, sati pratha. Some these are some rituals, or we can say these are some rituals which were held in the Indian culture, but now it is progressing. But Western culture is already advanced. They don't have such rituals and all. So Western culture is quite good from Indian culture. That is my point of view. Thank you.
Myself, as you said that people who wear that Western attire or who is in the Western form, they have the freedom. So as the people in the Indian culture, they also have the freedom. And as the Indian culture is one of the most oldest and diversified culture in the world, as the foreigners are attracted towards our Indian culture. Yeah. So I think you are saying that it is advanced, and the Western culture is advanced, and it gives us so much things it gives us freedom and all other things that you told about it. So I don't think that Indian culture is not like that, and it provides us it gives us freedom, and also the people who are grabbing or having that Indian culture is having that Indian culture.
I would like to make a correction onto your thing. You said that Indian culture is the oldest culture. Actually, it's the religion that is the oldest. It's not the culture. Culture evolves around over time, and various norms become cultural parts and traditions. So culture is not the oldest one. And for the part of being advanced and having freedom of speech, I don't really think that Indian culture provides you with a lot of freedom of speech. You see, there have been whenever something happens, whenever there is some liberal change into society, all the culturist people, all the conservative people, try to protest against it and try to stop it. And it has always been happening since last few centuries. For example, when sati pratha was being abolished, people protested against it. When anything happened that something is good in favor of society, but it is against culture, Indian traditions try to stop it, while that doesn't happen in Western culture.
Rituals and now that rituals are banned in India, and in the government are opposing that. And in the Western culture, you have the freedom, but you also got the disadvantages of that Western culture. If you are wearing the tight jeans, or girls are wearing the tight jeans and fabrics, or the short dresses, so it easily grabs the attention of the unwanted things.
Okay, my
and
point.
they have to face the difficulties for that.
Like,
So
just
I
tell
think this is the disadvantage of the Western culture.
Can you please specify like what kind of attention you're talking about?
Like as nowadays we are seeing the cases of, like she said, about rape cases or the harassment to the girls.
You see, that's the biggest my point against Indian culture. Indian
But we
culture
have
is
that
fully
disadvantage.
Indian culture is purely based on victim blaming. Be it this example or be it the logic of karma. They are all always put the blame onto the big victims. So, for example, like you just told, they grab unwanted attention. So you are telling women to wear full clothes, but you are not telling men to put. You are not trying to educate men over it.
We can try, but we can't change the mentality of that person, or of like we are unable to change the mentality of that person. So if instead of that we can tell our, like sisters or whatever relation you have with that person, so you should tell that person that you should not wear that type of clothes in the public places or in outdoor areas.
So
And
why
it's
don't,
properly banned in Indian culture in temples and many more things. You
You
not
can
wear
wear it,
short
but
cloths
at a
in
safe
there.
place.
That's
Like-
what Nidhi said earlier, that Western culture is more openness and there is more gender equality. And also you mentioned that foreigners are also adapting the Indian culture and they are attracting toward Indian culture. But as you see in India, there is a more rate of attracting, no, wait, this is more rate of attracting towards the Western culture than they are attracting toward Indian culture.
That's right.
And
I
also
agree
you
with you.
mentioned the point that the temples have banned. They didn't ban the suti clothes or cotton clothes because they are adaptive in our Indian culture. And as you talk about the shorts and that, this is what the Indian mentality is.
And also a part that you highlighted, that you should tell your mothers and sisters to not wear, like you're forcing them. That's also part of Indian culture and
I told
patriarchy.
that you can wear it in safe places. Like if you are going at midnight or you are wearing like that.
Like, but if you always keep women to tell to go to safe places, then ultimately there will be no safe places. Like, people will make every place unsafe for them. Like,
let them.
There are some people who are unable and who don't change their mentality. So that's why I told it.
okay, so don't you think that police system should be better? Like, if people don't change, like, that's the part of culture. That's the debate, right? That people won't change their mentality really easily. Okay, anyways, like we should just change the topic, or otherwise it's just getting heated up.
Okay, so if we refer the historic events around the colonial period, so Britishers were actually jealous about the Indian culture. Indian culture was at that time was far more advanced. Like education system were the topmost level in India than the Britishers was. But since they were jealous, they put restrictions upon the Indian, like in Indian culture, the education moreover focuses over the practicality. Like they taught their students not only through writing or anything, like directly they have to store in their memory. So that was and they are far more ahead than the Britishers. So instead they were jealous of Indian culture. So they put the restriction over and also arranged or built the schools. And from that, even today's school system was followed due to Britishers. Otherwise, Indian education was far more ahead than Britishers.
Also, they are attracted towards our Indian rituals, cultures, and the traditions.
Yes, like
as they are,
Tradition and more historical places in India, as fort and many more things.
Like coming
Western
India for knowing
culture
about
is
that tradition
attracting
and knowing
them.
about that culture. They are very interested in knowing that,
Yes.
and also they are eager to learn new things like from India.
Okay, so there are 2 points that you guys put up. First one was that education was superior,
Yes.
and they were jealous about it. And second thing is our historical monuments.
Historical value.
Now tell me first, I'll come out upon the historical monuments. How have we preserved it? There people just go write their names onto it. They just spit gutka onto it. They don't really value it as much as you just. So basically, Indians do not value their historical places until it's
Yes.
at the point of debate. Until it comes to the time of debate.
I agree with you, but 2016, okay,
Hmm.
his rule, historical places not a spitting and more thing is banned for it in historical places. You not put in
There are
trash
rules.
on there, and spit on there,
You
and
have to put a ban onto it, but culturally, it's like
it's from 2016 and not at all 2024 25 is not. You are go to there and there is cleanness and maintenance on the fort or many more thing and historical places.
Mhm.
So it banned in 2016. You are right. After 2016, 15, 14 is do it. Spitting trash on there in the but not there.
So you're saying before 2016 there was no spitting and like
No. 2015, 14 is not
It really
cleanliness
happened, but now
yeah.
government impose the rules and
Impose the
regulation
rules
on
and
that places.
regulation
Like
and that
if,
places
if you
is
do that
maintenance
Hmm.
and cleanliness and many more things are you.
if you do that things like spitting on the walls of
Yes.
that
Writing on the
blackboard or
walls
any other thing,
and
so
putting the trash
you will
on-
get a penalty or you would get a fine.
You have
from-
fine,
from the
penalty.
government. So people are avoiding that thing nowadays, and I think there are the undertakings from the government that are being taken by them, cleanliness, and they are also taking the maintenance of the historical
Maintenance of
places
historical
of the
places.
forts.
okay. Anything to this point? Because I have my
We
another
should
point.
give them chance. Like
Yeah, you guys should take something. Okay, on to my. I'll give you some time if you have something. That's the point. But
okay.
Yes.
So first of all, I would like to counter your point. I do agree with your point, but why rape cases are more in India? Even Muslim woman covers herself completely. Only the eyes are visible, and in cases even not. So why do a Muslim woman get raped? You have heard about some cases. 5-year-old girl child gets raped. 3-month girl child gets raped.
Yeah.
So it's the mentality of Indian people.
So as a
Did
state,
she?
we don't change the mentality.
Should I put my point first? So you cannot counter that point. It's completely wrong. It's the thinking of Indian people. Like they have that vulgar thinking. Why do these child are getting raped? They didn't show their body. So it's not about that. It's upon open mindedness which Western people have. They do wear short clothes, whatever they want, show their body they want to in a way, but the rape cases are more in India. Even though mostly Indian women like cover themselves, still they get raped. It's not their fault. Why do blame the victim always? Even in social media, you can see people blame the victims. Why did she go there in such place? Why did she wear that? Then what was the fault of that child? And the second point I would like to highlight about, he says India, like Western culture promotes rote learning. It's the opposite. Indian culture promotes rote learning. In NEET you can see you have to learn everything.
No,
Rote
I
learning
was
is there.
talking about historic past history.
I would like to clarify that rote learning is promoted by Indian culture, and there are some taboos like Indian people are much influenced by the Western people. Actually, they want to learn the languages. Like Indian people, like some things that even some of us thinks that if the person in front of us can speak English properly, is fluent in English, he or she must be like intelligent. But it's just a taboo. Like it's not people have that sick mentality, like if he or she can speak English, then only he or she is capable. Like in India you can see the companies hire people who can like speak fluently. So it is a taboo like that. So people have that mind of that. So rote learning is promoted, and secondly the rape cases, it's like you have, sorry to say that, but you are wrong on this side.
yeah.
But first we
Okay,
have-
about rote learning, it was due to Britishers imposed schools and that